Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Victor, and I'm going to be your anchor for this training. So we are in module 4 of the product design series. So we're trying to lay some foundation for you to understand what to do, how to do it, why you're doing it, so that you can become a better product designer. A better product designer means you're going to do better designs, means that you're going to know why you're doing what you're doing, and it's going to differentiate you from the other product designers that don't have this experience. So in module 4, we're going to be looking at designing for user experience. So we're going to be learning user-centric kind of designs that are as a result of getting the buy-ins, getting an ideology about what the users are thinking, what they want, and balancing it with what our objectives and our goal as a business or as a product creator is, so that we can have a better user experience. User-centric design principles, creating personas and scenarios. So personas, people are going to have how they want things to be based on their preferences. So we're going to learn how to create those personas or research those personas and look at different scenarios that those personas are going to be applied to and see how to incorporate that into our designs so that our designs are intuitive. And excellent designs are known to be very intuitive. Most excellent designs don't need someone to walk you through around them, right? Then we'll see how to conduct user surveys and usability testing. So what's user experience? So user experience is the process of creating meaningful, positive experiences for users when they interact with the product or service. So that process takes into cognizance, first, understanding the user needs, understanding the user behavior, and of course, the emotions to create a user-centric design. What's your design? If this design, for instance, if any of your designs are not centered around what the user wants to do, then it's going to be difficult for you to make it a very smooth experience for the user. So you want to make sure that your design is very, very tied to what the user wants. Good UX design considers the entire user journey from initial discovery to post-purchase support. Now, how do you get a good user experience? If you walk into a mall, if you walk into a shopping mall, you're going to find out that to enable good user experience, on our right at the entrance, you are going to see arrows pointing to different aisles and what kind of products and services you have in those aisles. If you have a very large shopping mall, right at the entrance of the building even, you're going to be told cosmetics, down floor, beverages, let's say first floor, TV, electronics, interior, last floor, that kind of thing. So most of the items that are going to be purchased on a regular basis are going to be on the ground floor. This design is by principle. This design is to ensure that somebody wants to buy just maybe groceries. Somebody wants to buy, let's say, toothpaste. Somebody wants to buy toothbrushes. Somebody wants to buy, let's say, milk. Somebody wants to buy biscuits. Very basic things, right? You don't have to climb one staircase to do that. You can find that right on the ground floor. So why? From experience, for data, you have a larger chunk of persons using the facility that needs to get those items. So it's better to give them a better user experience right from the time they discover that particular shopping mall to when they want to make their purchase, and even providing them support. Let's say you forget something from the shopping mall, or you want to do a return, or you want to do an exchange, or something of any sort. From the start to the finish, you can do it from the ground floor. Same thing for hospitals, even for mobile apps. For websites, this principle applies. It's an element of a very good user experience. So you need to consider that while trying to create your user experience, what's going to form your user experience for your project. Designers use a very variety of techniques to create effective user experience, including research, prototyping, testing, and iteration. So what this means is that before we can tell that this development we're doing, this brand we're creating, this product or this service we're developing is going to have a good experience, we first need to do a research. We've talked about that in the module 1. How we're going to do that, we're going to consider here in this module 4. So we have to research, we have to look at the different personalities that are going to be using this service. We now have to now prototype. We'll have to look at the flow between point A to point B to point C to point D. Then we need to now test. We can give the user to test. That's what we call user testing. We can test internally. That's where the software testing and quality assurance thing comes in. Even the developers, the UI UX designer himself can also test. Then all of the learnings that we get from this, we now iterate. We now try to make adjustment and change till we have something perfect. Not necessarily will you have a product that is perfect, but you have something near what the user needs and what meets our overall goal and objective. And there must be a balance between what the user needs, or rather an individual needs, and what overall user needs. That's why data to make those decisions are very key. If you have a very good design, what happens is that you have better user engagement. I've seen somebody that came in to do, our maybe digital marketing program some few years ago. While we are trying to look at click-through rates on different websites, click-through rates has to do with how many percent of persons that come to the website and now finally click. So you divide the number of persons that click by 100, or rather divide the person that clicked all over the total number of persons that come to the website. You times that by 100, you're going to get the click-through rate. So these are digital marketing stuffs, but there's a link between branding, product design, digital marketing. Now, if you have a very well designed, that's why you have sites that are not properly designed. They have low customer engagement. If you have a better mobile app, if you have a better website, you have better user engagement, better loyalty, better satisfaction. Back to my story. So we're trying to examine click-through rates, I think, in class. And I was asking the student, okay, why did you choose to train at Southern? Few things she said. She said, okay, I visited site A, site B, site D after I searched on Google. And one of the things I found out was that some of these sites were not providing good, awesome information, right? They were not providing solid information. I had limits to the content that I needed, and it was kind of hard to navigate. So yours provided that. This is like 5 years ago, before the pandemic, roughly around 4 years ago. So it's very important that, so that was what made her to make her decision. So if you have a very good, well-designed, and you don't have a perfect situation most of the times, you have to be tweaking this, you have to be iterating, you have to be changing your design from time to time because there is no final bus stop. And this is what can drive. Imagine just the experience the user has on the website can tell what the decision of that client is going to be to patronize that business or to leave that website and get on our website. Same thing happens for mobile apps. Same thing happens to brand elements. Okay, let's look at user-centric design. So user-centric design is an approach where you are prioritizing the needs, the goals, and behaviors of the user, right? As one of the principles is that you have to have empathy, you iterate, then you make sure things are very simplistic as possible, and there must be consistency. I've had to reject a few projects because of lack of consistency in the design. Some years ago, some persons came into my office and said, okay, we have a project. It's a government project, a big project even. Upon evaluating the work that has been done already, I had to tell the one of the lead consultants, I told him, I said, I will not be able to work on this project, or I will not be able to work with a team on this project. He was saying, no, this is a government job. It's going to give us money. It's good. It's all of that. I said, no. So because there was no consistency in design, and this is one element of design also. Take, for instance, you're on a website, there's a portal section, and maybe there's a mobile app. And you find that there's no consistency between what you have on the website and what you have on the mobile app and what you have in maybe brand collaterals. What you're going to find is that if you want your users to have a very excellent experience across board, with our website, mobile app, brand collaterals like screensavers, shirts, receipts, documents, diaries, everything, there must be consistency across all the pages of the website, across all the pages, all the screens of the whatever you have. There must be a clean consistency. You can choose the simplistic, minimalistic style. If you need to go overboard, you must make sure that you don't lose your viewers. You don't lose your viewers. Very, very key. Very, very important. Consistency is very key. And with that consistency, people are going to be shocked and ask themselves, am I still on the same mobile app? Why is this section of the mobile app, or why is this section of the website different from these other sections of the mobile or a website? The person can be thinking, hope I am still. So you cannot do different designs across different platforms or across different screen areas. You must make sure that there is consistency. That's why you need to also, in part of the training, you're going to learn basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript for product designers. This to help you understand, because whatever you're going to be designing is going to be translated into the final website, the final mobile app, the final product, the final whatever. So good programmers, designers also understand some of these principles. So if you're going to be working as a team, then you can't be different. So that's a little bit on consistency. So let's look at creating personas and scenario. So personas are fictional representative of your target audience. So I am, let's say, a C-level executive. I work in tech industry, major in education and career development. I have a family of a certain number, live in the federal capital of my country. What I'm describing now is actually my persona. And there's a whole lot of persons that fall into my persona. And if you can differentiate or have your target personas, it can help you create a better product. Now, you have persons in my personas that have slight differences in preference. So even in my persona, we can have categories. You can have the very busy executives. You can have the not so busy executives. You can have the executives that are just starting up in their career. So you need to understand the needs, the goals, the behaviors, and preferences. Understand that scenarios are hypothetical, a situation that describes how personas might interact with your product or services in particular specific context. So that's to say that when you have a persona like me as a person, I'm going to interact with a particular product in a certain way. That is scenario. So personas and scenarios can help you do better designs and create more relevant, effective, and satisfying designs. So if you can understand who your target, take for instance, we are targeting some trainings for persons with disabilities. We're doing some trainings for undergraduates. We're targeting some trainings for maybe the less privileges for orphans. Now, those are different personas. How you train, for instance, I've trained persons with disabilities, either visual impairment what's it called, hearing impairment, or maybe physical mobility challenge, any of that class, how you train them is not how you train persons without disabilities, right? Or persons without some limitations. That is not, you don't train them same way. So these are different personas. They are going to interact with whatever you have. Take, for instance, while training persons with visual impairments, you will need, for them to interact with your product and service, you will need an interpreter, or you need to have a way, like in web programming design, we normally say, we talk about tags. At times, aside tags, we'll talk about, what was this thing again? Let me see if I can see it just a second. Like this image now, let me view the page source. Alternate tag. Let me see if I can see it. So what it means is that, let me look for an image, ing. What it means is that if I am, let me just get one. Okay, this is it. You see this alternate tag, it's empty. Let me zoom out. Sorry if you're not used to programming, or you're not used to basic HTML, CSS, and the rest. For students that are taking the product design class, you're going to do some introductory class on this to see how to, because most of your designs are going to be converted to, they're going to be sliced into sections and the rest that a front-end engineer or designer is now going to use to develop that particular product. Now, you see this particular image I have here. If you check, you see that, just a second. You see that it has, let me get something. Okay, this is an image. This is the image. Let me open it in a new tab. So this is the image at the base stock. That is the logo on the website. Now, this particular image, so this is the title. This is the alternate. So this site is not designed to take care of persons with visual impairment. It's not designed to take care of somebody with visual impairment. Why? If I'm blind, for instance, if I use my maybe Joe or whatever software to try to access this website, I won't be able to read that image because there's no alternate tag. This alternate tag, if I put in, coding this, if I put in Adobe logo, while touching it, using my hands to like feel the web page or whatever, or a software is reading the page for me, it's going to tell me that this is the Adobe image, right? So that's to tell you that if you design something that does not target all of the audience that you are going to be delivering to, it's going to be very difficult for you to have a good experience. It's going to be difficult for you to have a good experience. So what are the steps to creating personas and scenarios? Let's look at that shortly. So if we want to create personas and scenarios, we just need to research. We need to do those identification. We define who we want to work with. Then we test our personas and different scenarios. So what are some of the examples of different user personas? So this is a classical example of a user persona. So this is Amy. Her name is Amy. She's 28 years old. She has a bachelor's degree in education. She's single. She has interest in new technologies, travel, foodie. Have you wondered why, if you're placing a Facebook ad, especially, or a Twitter ad also, Twitter does not give you such kind of flexibility. Facebook does. Google Ads does. You could tell which kind of audience, which kind of persona you want to target. Future goals, cut down on healthy eating habits. Does it enjoy interacting with customer support service? This is me actually. right? Any customer support persons over the years have known technology. If you call me, I'll simply tell you, send me a text or send me a message. Why? The volume of work I have to do on PC, on my mobile phone, does not allow me to even have all of the time to be interacting on a customer support, with the customer support, to be discussing a particular stuff. If it's serious, send me an email. If it's serious, send me an SMS or send me a WhatsApp message. And most likely I'll respond to you within minutes or at most maybe 24 hours. Except I don't find it very, very urgent. So, but getting a call or getting an explanation for how to use a product, all of those kind of stuff is something I don't enjoy. I'll prefer, even to walk into the bank is difficult for me. Never have to go to the bank to say I want to go submit something. I was telling somebody a few days ago that I can't remember when last I went to the bank. Why? The person said, okay, what about if you have an issue with the transaction, all of that? I said, the reason why you have customer support, especially customer support via electronic channels, is to solve these problems. And I dare not call the customer support and he or she's going to tell me I should walk into the bank or I should go back to a bank. I'm going to reply you and tell you that is the reason why you're there. You are there, or if I send you an email, you are there to solve my problems without me having to get to the bank. Not everybody will go to the bank. So they are users that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to supply with all the information as much as possible so that you can solve whatever problems I have, so that you don't even need to tell me to go submit any documents in the bank. Right? So you should understand the frustrations of the different personas that you have. Then context-specific details are there to try new flavors and food styles. So for a brand, this kind of persona is going to appeal to some certain kind of brands, and some brands, it's not going to appeal to them. Then scenario mapping, we're going to be asking ourselves, what are different scenarios? What are the different kind of conditions? What are the different ways that these personas are going to interact with our products and services? So what are they going to be doing? What are they going to be thinking? How are they going to be feeling? So we can use that information to design better products. And of course, user testing involves gathering feedback from real users, right? So at every stage of your design, you want to make sure that you give that back to either real users or prospective users, so that they can tell you what they feel. They can give you feedback. And of course, usability testing is a subset of user testing that specifically focuses on the ease of use, navigation, right? So in the subsequent tags, we're going to look at, or rather in this particular task, we're going to look at how to develop user personas for maybe 1 or 2 projects. For students running our mentorship program or running this program on maybe any of our channels, any of our programs, you are going to be given a specific task. So if you're on the channel, if you're on my online audience, you have a question, you can do well to ask in the description or in this comment section, and I'm going to attend to that. So in the next series, we're going to be looking at module 5, which is interaction design. Very, very key, very, very important, interaction design. But that'll be all from me this time around, and catch you in the next series.